guys, welcome back. Hope you're doing well today. Gonna do a little bit different of a video today. I posted a poll on the channel a little bit back and asked if you guys wanted to see more of the process that I go through when I'm writing this code, as opposed to just the finished products, kind of talking through them. So today we're going to be writing some code together. This might be a multiple part episode because I'm not sure. It's probably going to be a little bit longer of a process because I'm going to have to do some troubleshooting and we'll work through the things together. Another side note, my mic broke, so if I sound a little bit different, I'm using a backup microphone that I have laying around right now, so it might be a little lower quality, but we'll get back to the nice ones soon. So for today, we're going to be doing writing a bot based off of, it's called insider trading. It's not technically insider trading. So Finviz is a website that I like to use a lot. They have a lot of good information, and it's in a pretty easily digestible format for my code that I've written in the past. And they also have this cool tab that's insider trading. You can see, so when someone with a position in a company such as CEO, vice president, director, or 10% owner, as this one is here, makes a purchase or sale of stock in that company that they are related to, they have to get one of these SEC Form 4s and file that with the SEC to show that happening. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at these buy transactions. I don't really have this all planned out yet. All I know is that I want to look at what these, like here we go, President and CEO of this stock right here just bought just a couple shares. Some of them, we're going to look for high volume. So like this one right here, 10% owner in this stock went ahead and bought right around 1,100 shares with a pretty high value there. You can also see how many shares they own total of that company now. But we're going to go ahead and start today by going through the process of how I would take this data and get it into my code. So normally what I'll do is I'll have my file here. This stuff is all copy-pasted from previous code that does similar stuff. But we're going to start out with this test file, which is what I'll do a lot of the time is I'll kind of figure out how I want to parse the data. So right now, all we have is our imports that we normally use. We have this URL that's this page right here, and we're going to go ahead and use our Firefox WebDriver that we always use. So that's already set up right here, and we're going to use that to access the web page and pull the data. So I'm just going to grab this stuff from previous code, which is what I'll typically do. So we're going to URL. So we're going to get the web page right here. So we're going to use this driver.get URL, paste that in here. So that's going to open the web page in our headless Firefox browser for us. Now if we go over here, what I'll do is we'll just go ahead, click here, inspect, and I'm thinking what we're going to want to do here is grab just the whole table and then figure out how we want to parse through it from there. Or maybe just, yeah, we'll just grab this right here. So what you're going to do is click there, copy, we're going to get the full XPath. What that's going to do is just allow the code to easily navigate to that. So we'll say data equals driver dot get elements, or get what's the syntax? Driver dot find elements, and then this is recently updated, so this is something I'm having a hard time getting used to. So we're going to find elements, and then we have to add this by XPath in here. And something important to note, if you've done previous code with me, you have to add this import statement here to get that by for the by XPath, by class name, all kinds of stuff like that. So data equals driver dot find elements. By where's that? XPath, there it is. By XPath, and then comma, put our quotations in as we need to do, and then there we go. So that's what it's going to find. It's going to pull that table body, and then we'll go ahead and print data. So this is going to be a Selenium web browser object when it pulls it. We're just going to do this quick, run it to ensure that we're actually getting the data pooled. So it's going to just print out some random stuff, which we'll see in a second here, but it's just going to let us know that we have the, we're getting the data we need. Clear that. Python 3 test.py. Give it a second to open the web browser, grab that data, and then execute that print statement. And there we go. Okay, so we are getting something. You can see it's just it's kind of some gibberish, but this means we are getting an element from that. So that's good. That's a good start right there. Something else you can do, not sure if it's going to work or not because it's a, it should return a list, so we'll try to get the text out of there. We might have to index it to get the text out, but we'll go ahead and try. Okay, yeah, so I kind of expected that. Since we're doing this find elements, it's going to return a list. So what I'll typically do here is just index that at 0 because there should only be one of them, and then we'll try to print that text and see if we can get the data we're looking for. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit prettier. Okay, so now we are getting all this data we wanted to see. So looking at this, some things that I'm thinking about as we go through here. So we get all these, if we go back to the web page, we're going to get every item in this table, including these little things in between and this header here. So if we go back and look through here, okay, actually that's good for us. It's not pulling the those little like ads in between. What I'm talking about is these guys right here. So it's ignoring these, which is really good for us because it means we don't need to parse them out. So we're just getting all these tickers and all of this data. So we'll have to figure out exactly how we want to look through this. Something else I'm going to look at when I'm doing something like this. So it's going to be really easy for us to access the ticker for the stocks because if we look here, hold on, let me make this a little bit bigger. So like it's going to be really easy for us to access these because it's the first thing on each line. So what we'll probably do is instead of, let's go ahead and try to split this up a little bit. So we'll get rid of this. We know we're getting the data we want. We're going to do so right now it's just a really long string. And if you can see here, because these are each on a separate line, that means we can split this whole thing up on the new line and get a list with each of these as an item in the list, which will be pretty good for us to sort. So we're going to do data equals data.split. This is a function you're going to want to get really comfortable with if you're doing a lot of web scraping, data parsing, stuff like that. Splitting on different things. So we'll split on the new lines, and then we'll probably go back through and split each of those on, over here. We'll probably go back through and split these then on spaces so we can separate the ticker from the names, from the dates and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll print data. Actually, we're going to have to do data.text.split because data is just going to be that Selenium object that we saw earlier. Data.text gives us the string, and then we're going to split that on the new lines, and we should get returned here a list of all of those that we just had before. So let's try that. Okay, so it looks a little messier, but if we look back through, we see we have a list now, and we get the first line right here, which is all of the header information, and then a comma, and then we get the second one right here, a comma, so that's perfect. So we're getting this data, but it's split up into a list now. Something else we're going to have to pay attention to. So what kind of things do we want to access in here? And this is something I'm still working on deciding exactly how I want to make these trades. I know I want to try to buy with these vice presidents, directors, CEOs, and stuff like that. We want the code to buy when they buy. because obviously they have some good knowledge about their company and they think it's in a good position to go up if they're buying more stock. So we're going to want to look at, we need this ticker. That's going to be really easy to access because it's the first item in each of those, first item in each of these columns, so that's easy. Something that's going to be a little bit harder is, as you can see, the names. So there's like 2 spaces here, 2 here, 1 here, 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. So I'm thinking when we're looking for the number of shares they bought, the value, number of shares they bought, the value, and the cost and stuff like that, and the date. We're also going to have to pay attention to dates because this goes all the way back to October 28th. It is currently November 7th, so probably don't want it to go back all the way here and buy something because these might have already had some price changes since that happened. Yeah, as you can see with this one right here. But from between when he bought and now, it's been quite a big change. So we're not going to really want to buy that at this point. So we're going to try to focus on some of the newer dates and stuff like that. And I think the best way for us to index those is going to be going from the back end, because on the back end, so you can index a list negatively. For example, we'll just do a quick for item in data. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and split those into spaces like I said before. Item goes item.split, and then we'll just do on spaces like that. So it's going to split each item up into its own little list, and then we're going to do print item of, all right, here's where we need to do a little math here, a little looking and seeing what we're dealing with. All right, so there's a space here, so the last item is AM or PM. One before that is the time, day, so -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. So we'll go with -10 and try to get these the dates that happened just to see how we're going to go about this. So that should just print a list of dates that these purchases were made. So let's go ahead and try that out. This right here is one of my favorite parts of, okay, so there we go. Let's scroll back up real quick, finish what I was saying. This right here is one of my favorite parts of when I'm doing this, is I just get this mess of information pulled in a big old list and then kind of going through and figuring out how to parse that information and get the useful things we want out of it. So right there we have, if we go back to earlier up here, we're getting this right here, this part right here. So we index back from the end of the list to here. So these are obviously November 4th, 3rd, 2nd, blah, blah, blah. There should be some, yeah, there's like 31 October, so some older ones, and then 28's at the bottom. Something else we're going to have to pay attention to that's maybe going to cause a little bit of problems. I'm not sure what the regulation is, but they have a certain amount of time to file these SEC Form 4s after they've purchased the stocks. You see, this purchase was made on November 4th, and this form was filed November 7th. So there is already some lag time kind of built in there. So it's something we're going to have to kind of look at while we're making these trades. And this will probably be a multi-part series, so I'm probably going to figure out this data parsing a little bit. We'll put this up, and then if you guys have ideas of how I should go about making these trades based off this data, if we want to add in more like indicators, like a moving average crossover like we've done in the past, and do some stuff like that, because what we could do in theory is just take all of these tickers, regardless of how much people bought or who it was that bought it, take all of those and then just put them through some other kind of screening process to determine which ones we're going to buy and when we're going to sell those as well. So right now we're getting this number right here. We could change that up and get this. We can get the cost. Let's get we'll go ahead and try a number of shares. So if we go back over here, so we did -10 to get this number right here. We're going to switch that and go -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the number of shares. So we'll go over here, -7, Actually, we'll also, you know what we'll do? We'll go ahead and print. We'll print item of 0. So that's the first item, which is going to be that ticker. So that'll tell us what stock was bought, and then if we print item -7, cool, and then we'll print a new line just to break it up a little bit. Okay, so what we're looking to get out of this now is it's going to show us the ticker, because that's the first item in the list, and then it's going to show us the number of shares they bought, which is the indexing from the back is the -7th there. And again, the reason why we're doing that indexing from the back end is because, like, as you can see, if I tried to index these from the front, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one here is going to have a lot more because we have some extra spaces in here for chairman and CEO. So it's going to be like 9. Little things like that is going to make indexing from the front kind of a pain in the ass. But the back end on all of them is the same, which makes our lives a little bit easier. If there were variation in the front and back end, it would be kind of tough. Would not be super fun. So we'll go ahead and run this now. Let me get rid of some of this junk, and then okay, list object is not callable. Oops, okay, so see what I did here? This is something that you probably wouldn't see in a normal video from me because I doing this all live right now, so there's bound to be issues. So you see right here I use parentheses instead of brackets when I'm trying to index the list, so it looks like I'm trying to call the list as a function, which is not what we're doing there. So go ahead and change that to brackets so it knows we're indexing the list, and then we'll run this again. There we go. So that's pretty clean. Now here, I'm not going to scroll the whole way up because it's a lot, but we can see here we are someone with some kind of major relationship to this company bought 1,100 shares of that. And we could also get on here the date and stuff like that by adding some other items in here and stuff like that. So now as we get this data, now we can kind of go into more of the stuff that we've done before. So if we go into like here, oh, this one's old. Here we go. Also, don't even worry about these. These are super old. I haven't run this code in a while, so I've gotten new API keys and secrets. So you can go try to plug them in if you want, but it's not going to do anything. So now that we have some data, we can start going in, and if we look back here, like we're using oscillating indicators, stuff like that. This is really old code. Ignore this, please. That was me to me. So now we can start using some of this data that we're pulling to determine if we're going to buy the stocks or not. We can also, if we want to, we can kind of go, where is my URL here? Here we go. We could do this, go over here, and let's just take CVLY, paste. So it's something I've done in previous code, VLY. This is nice. TradingView's URLs are really simple. So what I've done in the past is use this tradingview.com/symbols/ and then I just append whatever ticker I want to look at to the end of that. And then we can look at the technicals. And what I've done in the past is kind of gone in here and seen like, okay, so we're seeing here the moving averages are overall indicating a buy on the short and longer term, all the way down to the 200 days are starting to indicate sell. And then the oscillators are pretty much neutral, really neutral. We can also change the time frame here. Since we're trading stocks, we'll probably stick at a longer time range to avoid some day trader penalties and stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one here. We did some good data parsing. We went from having this data on this website to pulling it down, getting it into our Python, and pulling out specific elements we want. So what I'm looking for from you guys now is kind of how should I go about trading these? Um, should I just blanket buy anything that happened, like if the filing of the thing it happened the same day as the buy, like this one right here. Whoops. November 4th, they bought it and they filed the SEC thing the same day. 10% owner. Is that something that I should just buy right off the bat and then like look at when to sell it later, or should we go ahead and do some more analysis on the stocks on this list and then determine buying them based off that? But that's going to be it for this one. We're going to keep working through this together in the next episode. I want to keep these, regular length. I don't want to make an hour-long video of just me sitting here trying to figure everything out. So yeah, let me know what you guys think we should do with that data. And thanks for watching. I hope you guys took something away from it and helps you out in your own web scraping adventures. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you.